Hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our first new iteration in this series, Coffee with Casey. This is the first episode. I have my good old pals, Jacob and James over there.
How do you do?
Now, I want to take a sip of this really hot coffee.
I chose ice because I wanted something more refreshing.
I chose hot because I'm sick.
Perfect. Perfect. So, what's the purpose of this? This is going to be a podcast for you all to listen to. We're trying something different with the webcams. We have two webcams going. Before, our past podcast didn't have that. But, yeah, it's something different. We're trying something new.
Basically, what the outline of this could go is Casey at any point. The way it's set up, Casey's always going to be in it, but at any point, Casey can invite other people to sit here and talk with him, or he could even do it himself, based on how we have it set up, which I really like.
Yeah,
It could fit any format too, like debating, like interviewing, and
There is no specific format of these. It's literally just if we have something we want to talk about, we will talk about it.
So I hope you're all ready for a couple of soy boys to get a little salty about a certain game that was recently released.
So we are starting off a little intense today.
So we're gonna be talking about Jump Force.
Yes.
More specifically, James and I are gonna be talking about Jump Force. Jacob didn't get to play it, but from what James and I played, it was a very lackluster experience.
It was, and from Jump Force, we will trickle down into a lot of things that I've noticed with gaming in general that stem from games like Jump Force. Like, to start off with Jump Force, a little background, Casey and I, and Jacob, have known about this game for a while when we saw trailers for it, and we were super, super hyped for it, like, immensely hyped for it.
yeah, it was like the hype started around a year ago, I believe.
Yes, it did. I remember it was just like Luffy and Naruto and Goku in like a scene, and like that was really all you got to see.
For a year now, it seemed very, very promising from what I saw, and me as a big anime nerd, it really tickled my fancy seeing all these universes just clashing and fighting and all that. And it seemed like it had a pretty solid story of how it balanced out everything. But you guys experience a lot different than what I've seen.
Yeah, definitely. It did promise a whole lot, but it fell so short, so fast.
It did. One of the probably the biggest thing that the issue of the game is it's stale. It's stale super fast. To steal what Casey says, it's a flash in a pan. Basically, there's not a lot of substance to it.
No, there really isn't, because it's when it comes down to when you start to play it, the story is mediocre. The animations are lackluster, and the fighting mode. That's really, I could forgive the story mode. I could really give less of a crap because it's a fighting game, you know. But the real focus of it is the battle mode, you know, versus. That's what the point of a fighting game is.
Yeah.
But even then, when you play all the characters, and you see all the special moves and everything like that, when you go through the whole cast, you're like, wow, those special moves are really cool and all that, you know? Then you realize that's all it really is. That's the whole game.
Yes, the game for the most part, it's special moves. A good comparison for me was the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games, but the big deciding factor between the games is Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 has a huge roster. Well over 100 characters, and there's different combinations of characters you can do. Yeah, the combat is not in-depth at all. It's very basic. You have your special moves, you have your attacks. But again, there's a lot of variety of what you can do to that. Jump Force has a roster of 40 characters. It has 2 new ones, but I think you have to play the story to unlock them.
Yeah, because they're original to to the story.
One of them is literally what's the guy from DBZ Super.
He looks like Hit.
He literally looks like Hit.
Literally, yeah, he looks like a bug version of Hit, and it's so funny.
They're original character.
Where's the originality? He looks like Hit.
But so basically how the combat works is you pick 3 characters to fight between. The first time you see it, you think, oh, this is going to be like Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, where you have 3 characters you have to fight through. Well, no. You have one character you fight through.
You get one character, one life bar.
Yep.
It's just it's the silliest thing I've ever I'm pretty sure there's other games that've done that, but
Ultimate Ninja Storm does that. That's the same thing. But like I said, there's a lot of variety to it.
And yeah, it just it feels like it falls short in so many different aspects because a lot of things are weird about it too. Like the assist, if you want to switch out your character, you gotta hit the assist button where they do their action, but you gotta tap the button. You don't hold it. You gotta tap it. If you want to use the assist, you gotta hold it. I think or it's backwards, something like that. It's either you hold it and you get your character, or other way around. You know, and they could have utilized the button layout a little bit better.
Maybe hit both LB and RB or something. Like the control scheme is a little weird. It's very it doesn't feel very fluent or enjoyable to use at all. Personally, from what we did, but
yeah.
And also from what you guys are telling me, like the options are very like lackluster, like trying to like fix like motion blur and all that.
Yeah. Like you can't even turn off motion blur, which
in a fighting game, that's
stop with the motion blur. It doesn't add anything to the game.
like,
it really
like
doesn't.
With a first-person shooter, yeah, that's like understandable. But like with
even then, it's like I just turned the motion blur off because it's just
I can like do this, and there's like no motion blur.
Yeah,
make it realistic. Come on.
It's I don't know.
It's just sad. Like and also the other thing the issue I had with it is the character roster. I'm a huge Naruto fan. Jacob and Casey are huge Dragon Ball Z fans. However, when I saw Jump Force, I didn't want... Alright, it's like a quarter of it is DBZ and Naruto. Mostly Naruto, honestly. There's like 6 characters in there.
Yeah, there's only like 4 Dragon Ball characters.
There was...
Trunks,
Cell.
Goku, Frieza...
There's Trunks, Goku, Vegeta, Frieza, and...
Perfect Cell and Piccolo.
Like, I get why they're like choosing those like 3 main animes, because those are the most like popular shonen animes.
I don't understand some of the character choices though. Like, why Trunks?
Well,
why Gaara? Why Kaguya? And people are like, well, that's the main villain.
Because they didn't even have Gohan.
Like, I get Trunks because like in Dragon Ball Super, he really is highlighted during like the Black Saga.
Yeah, but they didn't really I don't know. Like he didn't have that like super really cool form that he does in the Black Saga.
Oh yeah, the Hope form.
Yeah, the Hope form.
They borrow, like, it's like a big problem is, like, you know, they have Trunks and it looks like his super form. However, they did not have Super Goku, you know, like his final arc after Jiren and everything. Neither did
they only had Blue.
I mean, I understand why they wouldn't put Ultra Instinct into it, because that would just break the game.
But yeah,
I mean, not really, because if you, by the lore standpoints, everybody's on an equal ground. So
yeah, that's what I don't. That's what I also don't get though. The whole powering up thing.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Like, I've seen a lot of people say that
because
they're like, oh well, you know, they can't put Goku's final form in. I'm like, they basically put Naruto's final form in, where he goes into a 6-path Sage mode and he summons the Nine Tails to sling a beast ball at you, but you know, Goku can't go Ultra Instinct. Like, if you go by the lore standpoint, they make everybody an even playing field. That's why Yami can fight against these people.
Yeah, that's why like Yami just doesn't get his shit kicked in by Vegeta or something.
Which Yami is stupidly good.
He's really
it's
good.
Hilarious.
I like it, but like, you did not expect him to be good. But like, it's just like there was missed opportunities left and right.
Yeah, like the main point of why we're talking about this is because Jump Force is not a $60 game.
It's not.
It is not. Absolutely. You can't look me in the eyes like, yeah, that's a $60 game. It loses that mark of that pricing because it doesn't deserve it, because it loses and flops on so much.
Like, it's a $30-$40 game at best.
At best.
It's a $40 game.
At best.
Even then, I'm more leaning on 20. Like, I'm being honest. After an hour, the game got super stale.
Yeah, James and I were both getting a little bored after that hour mark.
And like a lot of games I've been noticing lately have been they demand a AAA $60 price, but they do not deliver on it. Great example, Fallout 76. I personally, when I picked it up, I had a lot of fun with it. However, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that game was worth $60. It was not worth $60.
If it was released how it is right now, then yeah, it's a $60 game for me, because it's gotten so much better since release.
I think that just brings up the topic of what does it take for a game to be $60? What does it need to have what should it deliver?
It should have at least a sustainable and innovative story mode, single player.
Yeah.
Multiplayer needs to be like damn near perfect. You need to have like all these other like extra things to like put into the game. Like yeah, I get like it's usually the publishers that push $60 games.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna push a $60 game, at least have the proper content for it. Like yesterday, I brought up My Hero Academia and Once Hero. That is a $75 game base. Like not even like a collector's edition game. It's $75. I saw it on sale for $60.
Ooh.
And it's like, okay, that's probably a game I'm never gonna get now because of that price.
Yeah.
A lot of games are like that. I've explained. I've talked to a lot of people about it. Great examples for multiple genres. So if story-based games like Metal Gear Solid, games like The Last of Us. These games are not long. Well, Metal Gear Solid is, but that's due to a lot of cutscenes. The Last of Us is like a 14-hour experience, if I'm not mistaken, 12 to 14. And a lot of people are like, well, that's not very long. I'm like, yeah, but like the story is very engaging. You get really attached to the characters.
Yeah, I was bawling.
The gameplay's good.
I was bawling like a baby during Last of Us because it was so like you get so attached to the characters.
First 30 minutes, not even the first 30 minutes, you're gonna cry.
Yeah, the opening part of the game.
Yeah.
It is really like
absolutely.
like stuff like that can elicit.
I was just watching it. I wasn't even playing. I'm like,
if it can elicit strong emotions like that, then you're getting your money's worth. Fighting games. We'll shift over to this. Games like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. Now, Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter on their own, they're the 2D style fighting games. Mortal Kombat does a story mode decent, but even if you strip story mode away from those games, they don't have a big roster, but what makes up for it is how in-depth the combat goes. It goes super in-depth. There's esports for the games. You can learn a lot of techniques for characters. So you can get your money's worth if you're a fighting fan. Ultimate, just packed with content. It's like loaded to the brim with as much content you can have.
Absolutely love Ultimate. They did everything right with it, honestly.
If you've been with this channel for a while, you know I am not the biggest Smash fan, but I love Ultimate. Like Ultimate is so fun to me. We did a stream recently, and it was like the greatest stream I've ever been a part of.
Yeah,
it is. I'm not the biggest fan of Ultimate, but I can always sit back and objectively look at games and tell you that they are worth the money. Smash Brothers is, to me, Smash Brothers is worth more. If Nintendo could have charged $75, $80 for that game, and I would have been like, that's completely fair. Yeah, that is 100% fair.
Yeah, that's 100% fair. If you try to argue against that, then you're being silly.
You're silly and wrong.
You're being silly because all the content they just packed into that game, we're like, well, it's just a reskin. It's just a different port from Smash Bros. 4.
They changed a lot. They nerfed,
they
buffed, they added characters.
The fact that they just changed base jumping overall, just like every character too. It's like
yeah, exactly.
They changed overall,
and they added back in characters like Sonic and Snake that weren't there for 4.
Ice climbers.
Ice climbers. They have
Wolf.
The game is just it is packed to the brim. It is a game that is worth its price point. You will get your money's worth if you are a fan of the game and stuff like that. And then the third games like genre I would talk about is like RPG games or action RPG games like Skyrim or like games like Final Fantasy. Typically games like Final Fantasy in that genre hit like a lot of multiple points. They have good stories. They have good combat. They have this. And then games like Skyrim, the main quest lines are typically very lackluster. They're not that interesting.
But there's all the side quests like
The Witcher 3, another great example of a game where hours upon hours of content. If I can get 60 hours of content, then to me that's worth $60.
Like a good
even
testament
if I get 30 hours, honestly, because like that's a lot of time to put into game. Especially you're not going to sit down in one session and do that.
Yeah, like I have a friend. He's done one playthrough of Skyrim, and he's 100% in the game. Took him 400 hours to do it, and even after like the 400th hour, he was still having fun with the game. And this is like with no mods. Well, not with no mods, but like the Creation Hub mods that you have to buy.
Yeah.
But even like after you're done with like an Elder Scrolls or a Bethesda game, period, there's still shelf life with that because of the community. Like the modding community has brought these games back, kept these games alive, and kept them going for all this time.
Yeah.
And people always complain of like, oh, they're just porting Skyrim over to other things to get money's worth. No, they're trying to make it available to more people.
Yeah.
And give it to people that probably never played the game before.
And a thing that that we've all talked about that we feel very strongly about is DLC.
DLC with games.
We've all come to the terms that it should be an afterthought. It shouldn't be, all right, let's make the game and we'll only just push it out as fast as possible. Again, that could be part of the publisher. That'd be like, come on, get it out there. We need money.
9 times out of 10, it
take out
usually
some of
is.
this content so that we can get more money from the people. And 9 times out of 10, like Jacob just said, it's the publisher.
Yeah, like a great example of that, Destiny.
Oh yeah,
That was a big series of that.
If Bungie would have had their way with it, they would have released all the story right off the bat.
yeah.
But because of Activision's greedy palms, they segmented the game and made it incomplete up until Taken King. When Taken King came out, it felt like a whole game finally, and they
Yeah.
fixed all these glaring problems. Same with Destiny 2 when
Forsaken came out. It was the same thing. It actually they were also doing some shady tactics too. I remember, I think it was Destiny 1. At some point when they started releasing DLC, they started removing stuff from base game and putting it in the DLC, meaning you had to buy the DLC to get access to the stuff you already had access to.
You kidding me?
I am not kidding you. Stuff like that happened. I mean, yes, it's Activision, and now thankfully Activision has parted, so now, but I honestly, at that point, now you get a lot of pressure put on you as a dev, because now it's like, well, that was a greedy company. All right, now let's do what Bungie, who has full control, can do. Well, now you have a very close eye on you, like, well, it was the publisher, so can you really follow through with this?
Yeah.
Well, I have faith in Bungie because, I mean, they delivered great with Halo. Like, with Halo, DLC was always an afterthought.
It was.
Oh, absolutely.
And it was multiplayer map
Absolutely.
packs. There was nothing in the story. The story was final.
It's super fun in Halo. Once you got your story and you got your multiplayer. Cool. Awesome. Great. This game's fun. All right, nice. Oh, you're going to add in more content for me? Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'll buy that. It adds on to the experience. A game shouldn't be like, okay, here you go, but you need to get the DLC to have the full experience.
Right.
Sorry. It's just such a greedy mindset. And
Like-
yeah, I know companies are all about money these days. But if you deliver good products, people are going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
If you deliver shit, people don't want that. People are going to be like, well, you're shady. I don't want to buy from you anymore. And that's how you tank as a company.
Like, also, like, a game that I think is doing really well with, like, the DLC aspect, it would have to be, like, Rainbow Six or something.
I could get into Rainbow Six. Rainbow Six is a very toxic style like community. I will admit that.
Well, every community is toxic.
Yeah,
if
you
find
could
the
say
right
that
people.
about a lot of the communities. The HOTS community, the WoW community, the Overwatch community, the Counter-Strike community, Dota, League,
Yeah,
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
it's like I have friends I've played Siege with, and we go back and forth about stuff in the game. It mostly comes down to game balance and this and that. But Siege is a game. It's a good representation that a company can. Because Siege was dead on arrival. Let's counting it as it is. That game sucked. It was not very good at launch. It was very buggy. Stuff did not work the right way. But this is a good case of Ubisoft sitting down and saying, we're not giving up on this game. We're not letting it go under. I think we're 4 or 5 years later, and the game's completely different. If you've ever seen Matt Pat's reality check where he talks about Siege, like if you watch that video and then go watch Rainbow Six now, it's like they're 2 different games, like completely different concepts.
Yeah, like, Ubisoft got better after, like, they took the 2 massive hits of Watch Dogs and Unity.
God, Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs was not a complete game.
That was such a
Unity
flop of a
was
game,
a buggy
dude.
piece of crap.
Dude.
Like, now, like, even after all the updates they put through Unity, for some reason it's still buggy. Like, you have all these players reporting problems, but you're not fixing it. But, like, obviously they got better with, like, Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Assassin's Creed Origins.
Oh yeah, Odyssey was a step in the right, or no, Origins was a step in the right direction, and Odyssey just blew it out of the water.
Like,
with content.
yeah.
like, even the DLC they added with, like, Origins and Odyssey, it was very little minute things. Like, they added bosses and I've completely lost that train of thought. But they added bosses and
You got bosses.
like,
They got bosses.
which weren't even, like, part of the main game. Like, I know with Origins it was like Anubis that you can constantly, like, do over and over again just to get good gear.
Yeah.
And that's a good practice. Like, if you're not, like, taking, like, a lot of the base game out just to put it in DLC, then you should be fine with, like, future DLC.
Yeah.
But if you're, like, delivering an incomplete game just to like make more money off of it, then that's pretty freaking shady.
Yeah, that's in my eyes, that's just like scummy.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on.
You guys have everybody knows about Resident Evil 2 at this point, which to me is a great example of a company doing something right. Like, yeah, it's Resident Evil 2. However, Capcom took that game, basically started from the ground up, rebuilt it. It's not the same game.
Yeah, it's a reimagining of RE2.
It is not. It's a it's like what they probably wanted at the time.
Like
and
they kept most of the story intact, but all the gameplay.
The story is similar. Puzzles are different. The gameplay is different. Different style of gameplay. It's over the shoulder this time, rather than I forget how the original. It was like set camera.
Yeah, set camera.
Yeah, it was like
through,
angles and different hallways and everything.
Made the game crappy at some points because you would get
absolutely
bad cameras, yes.
Yeah, bad camera
you
angles.
just keep going between the same scene like shit. Let me move.
Yeah,
that was technology at the time, but now the game's been great. It's gotten great reviews. It visually looks great. Sounds amazing. It plays really well, and Capcom is doing free DLC updates for it. Because what Capcom did is at no point did they say we're gonna make DLC for the game. They made the game, and then afterwards, like, we could add DLC into the game afterwards. We could probably add stuff. Like how I feel a lot of companies try to do. I think now, I've explained this to Casey and a bunch of other people. Games launch with their base game, a deluxe edition, and a ultimate edition. Every time I go on the Xbox store, those are like the three things.
It's such a headache because I'm also tired of like all the betas and everything like that. Open beta. It's like
betas aren't betas anymore.
They're demos. You're just calling it open beta because you want people to feel special about the product. Like, oh, I got to play an open beta this week.
They want people to feel like they're helping with the game production, even though it's already a complete game that you're playing.
And that's like the real like what's the word I'm looking for? That's a real disappointment because they're trying to like push people to make it feel like they're doing something, even though it's just the demo. And it's like the people feel like, oh, okay, yeah, and they try to give their feedback, but the company's like, it's just the demo. Calm down.
And don't get us wrong, we have nothing against demos. We're talking
like absolutely not.
We were talking the other
demos.
we were talking the other day where demos should be a thing for like every game, so people can try it before they buy it.
Yeah.
Demo, like how it used to work. So this year, and combined, I've played I think 4 betas. And what betas basically are is they're literally demos. Because betas used to be you play the game, you find bugs, you let the company know. This is before the game's even done.
And
it's
they
just,
fix it.
Here's a piece of the game you play through.
It goes alpha, beta, demo, live servers.
Mm-hmm. And games like Anthem, I've played. Black Ops 4, I played the multiplayer and the Blackout. Jump Force, and there was one other I played. I can't remember. But all those games... what I played was the game. That was in the game. Everything I played, that's how the game is. None of it felt like tweaked or anything, because usually betas are like 6 months.
Yeah.
They're like really way before the game's supposed to be slated to launch.
Well, like I believe like the one true beta that I've seen recently would have to be Fallout 76. I played the beta to that, and it was buggy, very buggy. Like there was bugs that would delete like your game. Buggy.
Jeez.
And when they launched, they got rid of all the bugs that were in the beta. But at launch, it wasn't a good game. They could have waited a little bit longer to release it, but they still did a proper beta.
And that just keeps going back to the same topic of companies shouldn't rush things out.
They really shouldn't.
So, but then again, it's back on the publisher.
Sometimes.
Sometimes,
Bethesda
yes.
Studios, they don't have pushback from their publishers at all. They don't have pushback from any. Bethesda controls Bethesda. Is basically it. The ZeniMax is like the parent company, but I've never played a Bethesda game where it felt like the game was rushed. They've all felt solid, good titles. And everybody knows the meme, Bethesda games launch buggy. That's an open world thing. I mean, I've always pointed to The Witcher 3. That game launched decently buggy too. But that game is a 10 out of 10. That game was 10 out of 10 at launch. If you ask me, that game was perfect. It had its bugs, yes, but the amount of stuff you can do, the content, the replayability of it, it was a phenomenal game. So I don't slight companies for buggy open world games.
Like, I won't slight them for it if they're like a responsive company.
Yes.
Like, there's like some companies that you'll send bug reports and they won't do anything about it.
Yeah, they'll just look at it.
Valve
like,
is really
Oh, okay, sure, whatever.
Well, the community will fix it.
Yeah.
Valve is
pretty
really
much.
synonymous with that. You can report endless things to Valve,
Anything you want.
and it could take up to a year for them to respond to you.
And then it's like, sorry, we just fixed it. You go back, they didn't fix it. Like, well, you lied to me.
Like, Valve is a great company, but they need to be more responsive.
You guys haven't done anything in a while.
Yeah. Another good company that's fallen to shady practices is Blizzard. Blizzard is a shell of its former self.
on this. Why?
It falls into the topic, Casey.
I know, but fucking Activision is just like so sad now. It's just
They've fallen to corporate, and a lot of people have been blaming Activision for it, and I'm like, from what I remember, I think Activision stepped in because Blizzard was going through financial turmoil, because Blizzard's has been making money nonstop. They never needed another person. They never needed another company.
And like, cause like, they had all these people hired and everything, cause you know, it's Blizzard. They're a huge company, absolutely huge.
Thousands of employees,
absolutely huge, and it came to the point where they couldn't keep all these people. Because, well, for one, Heroes of the Storm, it's a free-to-play game. That's a given. And then, like, the really only, like, money maker for the company was WoW. WoW's been their money maker because of the $15 a month. That's been, like, the huge money maker for everybody. But, you know, when they released Battle for Azeroth, they pretty much pissed everybody off. Because they had in the trailer, like, oh, you can play as Zandalari trolls and the Kultiris. That's the main reason why I got Battle for Azeroth is the allied races. It's like, wow, I can play Zandalari troll. That's pretty cool. We still don't have them. They're still not released, and they just released a video on Facebook like a couple days ago. Like, ooh, 8.1.5, they're coming.
Yeah,
Good.
Isn't with Battle Azeroth when you really fell off with the game?
I thought that was Cataclysm.
There's a lot. But there's been times where I was like, okay, you know, WoW's not that fun right now, but I still kind of played it. Warlords is where I was like, this is garbage. I'm not playing this expansion, and I didn't. I got some characters to high level, and I stopped playing. That was just that. And Legion it got better in Legion. You know, they started. I know people are gonna say, well, the artifact weapon grinding was a pain in the butt. I agree. It was a grind. It definitely was.
Then,
but
like, wasn't Mr. Pandaria like when it really got good again?
Mr. Pandaria was fun. Yeah, I don't care what people say. I had fun with Mr. Pandaria PvP. I thought it was pretty fun.
Warlords of Draenor, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yes,
that was right after Cataclysm, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. And you know, in Legion they offered a lot of different things. Like there was assaults in pre-Legion patch expansion drop. They had assaults on all over Azeroth, just over in different locations of continents in Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor, where Legion like bosses would just spawn there and attack the places, and you would have to, like, as the world, go defend the place, horde in alliance. It was cool. Yeah. Like, all right, that's pretty freaking cool. And once Legion came out, they didn't do anything with that. They're like, okay, cool. Bring that back, maybe.
Yeah.
And they added, like, they gave, like, mage towers. They had cool skin rewards for your artifacts, and, like, they were hard. They were a challenge. And I feel like now in Battle for Azeroth, they're not really offering anything, and, like, the cutscenes, they've dramatically, like, half-assed it.
That's Blizzard.
Yeah, and Blizzard's known for their
because
cutscenes.
In Legion they had like animated cutscenes, but like they weren't like the full-on cinematic ones, but they
like
were
with StarCraft.
They had
too.
kind of like they looked good still, even though they were like kind of using the in-game graphics, but they weren't like the base model graphics. But
graphics, though.
I don't know, I can't even explain it, but like it's not the cinematics, but it's like that happy middle ground where
yeah,
kind of like Halo.
It looked good. You're like, all right, they actually animated it. They, had voice acting for the all that shit. They look good.
Yeah, it's kind of like
And
Halo 3
now,
game.
in Battle for Azeroth, when there's a cutscene, they just have the in-game models in the in-game world poorly lip synced.
So it's not mocapped at all or anything like that.
It's garbage.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a downgrade from what we had in Legion, and they made a lot of promises that they haven't even 6 months later. It's the Zandalari 6 months later, and when they first announced it, and we still don't have it.
And we know Blizzard can do good cinematics because look at
We
StarCraft
know.
2. Even look at Diablo 2.
Overwatch. Look at Overwatch.
Look at any of their games.
Overwatch is the best example of how amazing their animations can be, dude.
Any of their games, dude. They have great animations.
They do. Even the Heroes of the Storm animations were good.
Dude, yeah. But now, because they've recently fired 300 employees
That was a lot of employees that they fired.
all at once.
Yeah.
Hey, at least the CFO got a good paycheck.
They gave the CFO $15 million. Personally,
If they
the
didn't
thing.
give the CFO that much money, they probably wouldn't have to lay off all those workers.
No, he doesn't even need that much money.
He's a rich guy already, probably.
More than likely.
but a lot of games have been suffering from we're gonna promise this and do that. Just do your game. Just make your game. Stop promising. Stop.
Yeah,
Stop outlining your game as it's like an MMO. Stop planning DLC. Stop releasing Ultimate Edition. Stop giving us season passes without letting us know what's in it. That's what Call of Duty does.
Oh, that's
Here's a promise. We'll promise
That's-
we'll give you good stuff.
that's stupid. You can get a season pass. God knows what's in it, but you can get it.
That's a lot of games. You're asking me to have faith. And a while back when, if 2008 Bungie said, we're not entirely sure what we're going to do yet, but if you have faith in us, buy the season pass, we'll deliver. I would have bought it. I
Yeah.
really would have, because
Yeah.
I had faith in the company. But now I'm very shaky about it. Even with good companies, CD Projekt Red,
Yeah.
if they offered a season pass, I would still be like, I don't know. You guys have made phenomenal games, but just because of how the now climate is of video games, I don't know if I want to trust you.
Yeah, like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I think Critter and I both bought the base game with the season pass. It was I want to say we got the Ultimate Edition.
Just $120. Or $100.
I forget what we did, but it was I think it was $100 we spent on the game with the season pass. Where it basically said that you would get the characters that came out, which we didn't even get all the characters. I'm pretty sure we didn't, because I know I didn't, because I had other characters where characters I think were $15 if I'm not mistaken.
That's ridiculous.
I'm
Characters should be $3.
I'm curious
3
to
to
find
5.
that out.
I've always said that in fighting games, characters should be $3 to $5, and people can be like, "Well, this and that." I'm like, "It's a character. It's a singular. If you have a DLC pack,
I'm gonna
15.
I'm gonna go check that out right now. So
but if you are releasing one character, then $3 to $5. But
yeah, we bought that. We bought that pass, and it was just it was crap. The game's crap.
it was simplified.
It was
combat.
simplified. What's doing auto combo X? Sure, you can turn it off, but the fact that that's the
It should be the base game, and then you can turn on.
yeah,
the
you can
assists.
turn it on.
That's
You
how
should,
fighting
that
game should
shouldn't
be.
have. It shouldn't have to be yeah, this is already built in right here,
This
and
is
it's
the easy
this
part.
is the
You have to activate the hard part.
wet.
But just a lot of games nowadays have been turning into they have this road that they're trying to travel down of we're gonna have content here and there. Don't get me wrong, everybody loves content. Everybody likes buying a game and knowing that they'll get more later on. But you gotta take games like Skyrim. To my knowledge, did not have season. It was Skyrim. That was it. And then they made DLC for it. After what was it? A couple months, 6
Yeah.
months.
Yeah, Critter and I both got the deluxe edition, which is now $59.99. The base game is $40 now. At launch, it was $60, and I believe that was probably $80 or something.
Probably deluxe is usually 80 to 90.
Oh, sorry, no, the character, but still, one character, $8.
Yeah, see, that's too much money.
If you're going to do an Ultimate or a Deluxe Edition, add something worth getting. I'm going to point out one game, Halo 3. If you look behind Casey, that's a collector's edition item for Halo 3 right there.
It is. That's
what you
great
get.
example.
Skyrim, you get a statuette of Alduin. For Fallout, you get
In a fucking costume. a costume is what is it? Where'd it go? A costume is $4. Just one costume. One.
A costume
One.
should
$4.
like if you're gonna sell a costume, 99 cents at most.
$4, dude.
And you know what's sad? It's really hard to pinpoint in like a timeline of when games started. I typically go to around between 2012, 2013. That wasn't around Destiny launch. I'm not blaming Destiny, don't think I am. But it was around that time where shady practices slowly started to add up in video games.
They became like a norm.
Like, yeah, with Destiny, like, based game, like, when it was released, there was data miners. They found the DLC was already in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, you had to basically buy it to unlock it.
Yes.
If you're going to do that, then don't even bother, really, because you're going to have people call you out on that, and that's going to bring your public image down massively.
It's going to make it look like crap.
Like,
I've had arguments with a lot of people. I'm not trying to cite other YouTubers, but Angry Joe does good reviews on games nowadays, and he did Destiny reviews, and he talked about the games as they were at launch, and I've argued with a lot of people that are like, I don't like his review, it's very shallow, he didn't go back and replay the game, and I'm like, but if Joe had a solid game to play when he played the game, he wouldn't have to go back and play it to give it a better review. Like, this is the thing, it is great that a game can add content in later, that's fun, but if your game doesn't have a solid beginning, middle, and end of base game content where I don't have to grind hours upon hours to enjoy what's at the very end of it, and sacrifice the beginning and middle, you won't get a bad game. You'll have a good game. And so many companies do that now.
we're going to go to the grinding argument of this podcast. I really don't care if there's grinding in games, and Casey can agree with me on that. Sometimes that adds to the game. Like Dark Souls, you have to do a lot of grinding. Warframe, you have to do a lot of grinding. Anthem, it looks like you're going to have to do a lot of grinding. Sometimes that can add to a game.
Sometimes it can. Sometimes it can't. It depends on how the grinding's done.
Warframe?
And I guess you can argue, but like, yeah, either way it's going to be grinding. Yeah, but you know, if I'm having fun...
Yeah, you have to...
If I'm having fun destroying things, then yeah.
That's the
I'll
fun
grind,
thing.
I don't care. I get to destroy things. But if I gotta be, alright, well, go over there, pick up that box. Okay. We're bringing it back over here. Okay. Alright, keep doing that now. And I'll give you like 10 pieces of coins.
Like my favorite game to do grinding in would have to be Dark Souls 2, because you can grind through that and it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
But if you beat the main boss in that area and go back to the hub world, you can set a flame there that makes all the monsters there harder. Then you can do that an unlimited amount of times. So no matter how powerful you get, you can make the monsters more powerful.
You can tell Jacob's
messed up.
done it.
That's messed up.
I spent hours upon hours in that game.
But I think the thing with Dark Souls series though is that the combat and how AI is, it's really hard.
Yeah.
So the grinding, it's like you're grinding to overcome something. When I first played Bloodborne, Casey and Jacob know, I was beyond pissed. I'm like, this game sucks. This is stupid. This is hard.
This game sucks.
Yeah,
It's too hard for me.
I was basically begging you to like take a second look at it, and you did, and you appreciate it now.
I do. It's really fun. It's very rewarding. It's honestly I'm blaming the fact that I got too used to easy and mindless games nowadays.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to appreciate an art form of a game that's really good. And a game like Horizon Zero Dawn as well, really good. The combat, the combat you can just do in the regular game. The fact that I can slow down time sliding under a thing, jumping over me, and shoot it with an arrow, all in real time. No quick play, no quick time. This is real time combat. The fact I can do that is insane. Insane.
With Horizon Zero Dawn, I found myself getting like basically lost in the gameplay and not doing the story mode, because I'm just like, I'm gonna go kill that. That was fun. Okay, I'm gonna go over there and collect some of that. Okay, that was fun. It's always fun. If you make grinding always fun, then yeah, you're gonna have people that really appreciate your game and
it's just,
paint you in a good light.
Yeah, like, it's a grinding game, but I'm having fun doing all this stuff. You know, I'm having a blast.
There's ways to
it's
make
crazy.
grinding fun. Like a game series that I personally don't like, but I'm not gonna slight it, is Borderlands. I don't like the combat in Borderlands. I personally don't. I feel the combat's very boring. And
I feel that. I personally don't like Borderlands. I tried Borderlands 2. I can't get into it. It's just
Literally, I've
And
started
I'm the
8
exact
times.
opposite way.
Yeah.
Borderlands is one of my favorite game series of
Which
all
is cool.
time.
I'm fine with people liking it. I've given it plenty of tries. I've played with different people.
Yeah.
They always tell me it's really fun at the end. I'm like, I believe you. I believe you. It's fun at the end. But you gotta understand where I come from when I play a
that
game.
argument.
If I can't have fun in the beginning or the middle of the game, then I have zero interest
I hate
in the end game
that
stuff. I
argument
don't
so
care
much.
about
Like,
it.
with
It's good at the end. I don't. That's not gonna suck me in at the beginning.
like with a game like Borderlands, it's very hard to get into alone. But if you have a friend to play along with you, that's where I think Borderlands really shines. It's multiplayer, like co-op,
Yeah.
and
I personally would disagree. I played with two people. But that's just me. It still didn't do it for me. They're like, this is really fun, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, I want to get off.
When do I get to the fun part?
That's me. Like I said, I'm not sliding Borderlands or Borderlands 2. Those games are good games, good dev. 2K and Gearbox are really good.
yeah, they're not shady.
They're
'Cause,
not.
Like Gearbox is one of those companies that like they didn't plan their DLC beforehand. They added it in.
Because people wanted it. People wanted DLC. They even wanted to do more DLC to Borderlands 2, to my knowledge, and the actual fan base said, no, focus on Borderlands 3. And Gearbox was like, all right.
Okay, we'll focus on pre-sequel now.
Pre-sequel was a different dev team, was Australian.
Yeah,
It wasn't the same one that did Borderlands 2.
yeah, you can really tell too because every character in that game is Australian.
Yeah, but for the like it's just a lot of games are like that though. Like a lot of games are just grindy, mindless stuff now. That's why I can't like the Destiny series. Everybody keeps telling me, "Well, the end game's great." I'm like, listen,
Well,
that's
this-
great, but you're asking me to take a leap of faith
This is
that I'll
where
enjoy it.
This is where I disagree with like both of you on that. Like for endgame stuff, like forward progression's always been a thing in games. Like you start out weak at the beginning of the game, then you get stronger as you go along.
Well, I
But,
can
like-
understand that, but like, even like if I'm not strong in the beginning, I still want to have fun.
That's where story comes in to me. Like,
And
if it has a good story,
if I'm pulled in,
Yeah, like
yeah,
I don't mind grinding. 'cause
like I get like the argument of like and like I shouldn't have to rely on endgame stuff for it to be good.
Yeah,
but
but,
a lot
like-
of that you have to rely on like the story. If
yeah.
the beginning story and the mid story is good, then yeah, I'll accept it. If it's
Yeah.
boring, then endgame is fun, then
Then
yeah, I
that's
get
that's
that.
garbage. Yeah, I can.
It
That's just terrible storytelling.
Yeah, but if you start off like, hey, you're not this super powerful guy, you
Which you
work
could be.
towards that.
yeah, I don't mind working.
Mega
towards
Man
stuff.
X.
That's a great.
That's a great example.
A lot slow, or not a lot slower, a lot quick, but it's
The-
a good
the
example.
plot's a little bit quicker, and it's pretty simple. You know, destroy Sigma. Cool. Wow, crazy. But you're not strong enough to even beat Vile. But you will become strong enough. Eventually, you'll be stronger than Zero. Cool.
One game that I think did really good with forward progression, and it's a game that it's a very underrated game in my opinion, is Hulk Ultimate Destruction.
Heard of it.
The free roam one.
Yes, I
Like
played that.
at the beginning, you start off like very weak and everything, but like as you go on, you collect these things, you get stronger and stronger, you get new abilities, and the story was really great with it. It did a really good job with the forward progression, but like I can't even name off a shitty game that does that right now.
To me, it was Destiny. That was what to me. I tried so hard, and I really did. I tried, and I've been told, well, the base games are bad. I'm like, okay, that's great. You can tell me anything you want, but I want to experience it firsthand. And still, I don't care what you tell me. I'm still gonna judge it based off what I played. Yeah, I like to make assessments on my own because a lot of people can say whatever they want about a game. They go like, oh, that game's terrible, but I could have fun with that game.
We've been spending a lot of time on this topic.
Well, that's pretty much just the focus of this topic, because how companies are just rushing out games now and giving us incomplete products and subpar products, and then like, oh, we'll just patch it. Just wait for us to patch it.
Yes, that's.
Well,
That is a lot of game companies that do that.
But it's cool how they can patch and fix things, but do it when there's only like minute bugs. Don't focus on like, just rush it out, get $60, and then we'll just patch it and then drop the price later.
This
Go
is one
ahead.
of the things that I can mention, and it comes down to an entire company. A lot of people try to hate on Nintendo, calling them a kid-friendly, not very interesting company. And I will sit here and say that Nintendo, throughout my entire playing games for at least 16, 17 years, since I was really young, have never released a bad game, ever. Never played a bad AAA Nintendo-based game.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, AAA. From their library of series, the most they've ever done is maybe a subpar, middle of the ground, like Metroid Other M, is the only game that comes to my mind when I think of... And you can argue Skyward Sword for Zelda. I'll give you it. I personally like it, but I can understand where people come from with it. But
And if you want to say like Nintendo's a kidsy company, go back to Super Metroid and watch the death of Crocomire.
play any Metroid game.
You're literally watching this guy die by like dissolving in acid. Each time he comes back up, more of his skin is missing. That is a violent death for a game back then.
Go play Breath of the Wild. That game's hard. That is a hard game. It's not Dark Souls hard, but it's hard. That's not easy. You're not going to give that to a 5-year-old and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, this is a great game." Like, no, they're going to get slapped by some bokoblins with wooden mallets and get destroyed.
All the Lionels in that game.
It's like you're not going to have a good time. It's hard.
This is
That's basically it.
And going back to like again, kidsy company, you can play Doom on the Switch. Like that is not a kid game whatsoever.
They're adding Nintendo's collabing with Microsoft, which I'm hoping Nintendo can give Microsoft like, "Hey guys, this is how we make good games. Take some notes." Because Microsoft hasn't had a good game in a long time.
Hey guys, this is how you make a game good.
Like I find it really cool that like Switch is going to get like Xbox Game Pass, because like being able to play like mobile Halo or mobile Gears of War,
That's just cool.
It's gonna be really cool. And like Sony, they're
Sony,
fine.
get with the program. Like,
No, leave Sony alone. They're great. They make good stuff. Don't slight Sony. Their games, God of War, freaking Horizon Zero Dawn.
I thought he was gonna name
don't get me wrong.
I thought he was just God of War.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Sony has some great exclusives, but they need to get with like the cross compatibility program.
It would be cool.
Like the one game they did that with is Rocket League. That's the only game I can think of right offhand.
Fortnite too, but I don't.
Yeah, Fortnite.
I don't like Fortnite, but
Fortnite.
You know what? Fortnite, they helped lay the groundwork for this
The Battle
cross
Royale.
compatibility, and I will give Epic Games a lot of props for that.
Yeah.
They did kind of lay the groundwork, because I think when they were done their cross compatible, they told all these companies like, "All right, here you go. This is the stuff we use to do it. It's free. Go do it."
And also, like
They did it for the love of games.
Fortnite like laid down the ground lines of the battle royale genre to begin with. Like every AAA battle royale game that's come out after Fortnite is the game's trying to one up Fortnite. Like Apex Legends, that is a great game.
I still get to play it, but
Yeah, I've yet to play it too, but like
You guys should.
the things I've seen from it, it quickly blew Fortnite out of the water. Like,
And no, there was no press before. I think there was 2 weeks. Two
was
weeks
2
before
weeks.
launch, and then boom, here you go. Here's Apex Legends, and I'm like, "What the hell's Apex Legends?" And then I go play it, and I'm like, "Dude, this game is phenomenal. It's like you took like a hero type shooter, made a battle royale, and then added a revive system, and everything just flows really well. I think the 60-man people, the 3-man squads, maps. It is the perfect battle royale game that I can have a lot of fun with, and I hate that genre. I don't like PUBG. I don't like Fortnite. I don't know any other battle royales.
Blackout.
I don't like Blackout. I don't like them. But Apex, I've sunk a lot of hours into it.
Like, I don't like Fortnite because it's too cartoony for me, and I don't like shooting a person and them turning into a 80-foot building.
5-star hotel with Wi-Fi.
Like, that was like one of the most stupidest features I've ever seen in any battle royale game.
what the hell?
Season 2 Fortnite was actually good.
Why are you in Tenpenny Tower?
Like, beginning Fortnite was fun because everybody was stupid. You go to build, you build like a single wall, and you build like a roof, and you mess everything up where you're getting shot at, and you're like,
I'm gonna live now.
now freaking
then you
Timmy
play
Turbo
as a-
Fingers is like,
Oh shit. Okay, what the and then I got sniped. Good.
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 Like, Blackout is just a more polished version of PUBG. And I wish PUBG was good.
PUBG is good on PC.
It was
is.
it was very promising, but for a while they just stopped with updates. They stopped updating the game. Like, they've added like what, 1 or 2 new maps now?
It had
but-
basically had PS2 graphics. It would be buggy loading in. There was a lot of issues. It was pushed to console like way too quickly, and it should have taken its time. But overall, that's just kind of how we feel lately about games.
Yeah.
it's just kind of we wanted to give you our insight on it, get a feel how we as people who've been playing games for a long time have just been feeling like we've been being alienated lately in terms of good games. Cause
I feel like we're in that generation where it kind of shifts more towards the we're more in like we grew up with the online age, everything's online, but I think it's getting to that next step.
We were in between. We started before online, and then
my
first get into it.
My first console was a PS1. Well, there was online for PS1, but it was basically like attached for the PS2.
Yeah.
But like then I didn't have an online system. I didn't even have like a computer up to play online games with. I started with Xbox 360.
Yeah,
and
same.
Even though it was paid for, but you were getting good like connection and all that. Like when you paid for Xbox, you were paying for good quality like gameplay, and all these like features that came with Xbox Live.
Basically, we're in a weird spot now with how everything's going.
We're definitely in a weird spot of gaming right now. We're gonna have to see how things play out, because I know a lot of people aren't happy about with things and how they're going with the additions and updates and getting gypped out of the money from our partially released games to have more DLC thrown out for like $20.
And honestly, if you're getting sick of like AAA games, go support your indie developers. Indie developers they spend a lot of time.
They make phenomenal games.
They spent a lot of time without the promise of mass amounts of money.
Axiom Verge.
Axiom Verge is a great game. Great game.
Best indie game to me.
Axiom Verge, Minecraft, Subnautica, like Terraria. Those are like amazing games, and they're not all too big. Like Minecraft, it's big, but that's because it earned that.
Yeah, it got big.
Just support games like that. But
support your indie developers. They deserve it.
Overall, that's just our opinions on stuff. We're wrapping things up basically at this point.
So, I want to thank you all for listening to this podcast with Coffee with Casey. If you guys like this, we're gonna be getting dogs barking.
Oh, Cloud, at least we made it to the end.
All right, so if you guys like what you saw or like what you heard, I guess I should say, because vidcasts are just there for people who actually just want to look at shit.
That's true.
If you guys like what you listened to, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and hit that bell icon. Get notifications straight through YouTube. Don't forget to like the video, share it around on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, Tumblr, I don't care, somewhere.
Anywhere.
Just share it. Social media, somewhere. And be like, hey, watch these guys. Or listen,
word of mouth, and just
share us around. Support us, all that good stuff. Don't forget to go to my Twitch at twitch.tv/OCDGaming90, because I do live streams there Monday through Thursday. And that is pretty much all we have to talk about.
It is.
I really hope you guys like it.
Once again, thank you all for watching. Hopefully we catch you all in the next video. Take care, everybody.
See you later.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Casey of OCDGaming. I want to thank you all once again for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to the channel. It'll really help us out a whole lot. If you want to see more by us, go ahead and check out our recent uploads and check out our playlist. You'll find tons of more content there. Once again, thank you all for watching. Hopefully we catch you all on the next video. Take care, everybody.